Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's Eric Coffin. I'm speaking to you from the 2019 pre-PDAC version of the Metal Investor Forum in Toronto. I'm here with Tom Ullrich, the CEO of Aston Bay. It's one of the companies that I invited. Aston Bay has got a pair of high impact, early to mid stage, I guess, depending on how you define them, projects. One of them is in the far north, Aston Bay, the eponymous project. But I think more immediately, and maybe what people want to hear about right now, is your project in Virginia, where you're very, very, very close to getting started with the exploration now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, certainly the Virginia project is really where we're focusing our efforts right now. We cannot work up north, in the winter, but things are coming along very quickly right now. We've just signed a deal. We press released on Monday. It is a land agreement for essentially a gold play in Virginia. Some significant intercepts, about 25 grams over 2.5 meters is the highest grade, but that's within a halo of lower grade, but still multiple gram, over tens of meters type of.
And what is that? Like, what's the?
Do you
know what the target is? I mean.
Well, we are in the extension of the Carolina Slate Belt, and we know we have the Hale Gold Mine, run by Oceana, the old Remarco gold play there. Now, you never get two geologists to agree, and the two geologists that we have on this, Don Taylor and our other geologists that have been working in this area since the 90s, they don't agree.
Okay.
One says it is more like the Hale type of mineralization.
Right.
Our other geologists would call it more on the orogenic type gold.
Okay.
But at any rate, the grade is there. Again, it was found VG at the surface, 6 very shallow drill holes, never really chased up. Mineralization, significant mineralization in these holes.
Do you have a sense of scale? Like, as you're charting geophysics? I mean, when you're looking at this as a target, if you get a sense of, ultimate target scale here, I mean, what's defining the target scale?
Well, this was really more of a geochemical find initially, and as far as chasing it up, we are essentially in the Appalachians. This is a metamorphosed zone, so there is some folding and some faulting, but it's really just a matter of chasing it out. Almost old school geology. Perhaps some additional geophysics might help, but at the moment, Don and our other geologists have been chewing on this for quite a long time here. They know where they want to drill, right. Just using their geologic senses.
How big is a geochem target? I mean, is it?
Well, it's hundreds of meters, let's say that. But
I mean, that's where I'm going here.
Exactly.
There's room for the thing. It's
not
absolutely,
absolutely.
It's not a one-hole wonder.
Nope, definitely not. And like we say, we expect to see folded and faulted, repetitions of that mineralization.
And how many? Can you say what the size, like the agreement that's just about to be announced, like how large is an area is that?
This is actually quite a small land package that we're actually going to sign this agreement on, because we know where it is, and,
right.
and so it's.
This entity has a lot of land, but you're really only interested in this target area.
This is a smaller group that we're signing with, but it's essentially it's a group that picked it up because of the gold at the surface here, and so it's great. They're a friendly group. We're able to work. Unfettered,
right.
We're really happy to have that. Like I say, we expect to be drilling there this month. Essentially with about a week or two notice, we can have drills turning down there. So it's just a matter of getting out there, getting the logistics sorted out, and get drilling. That's the plan.
And you've got you have a number of targets that are coming out of this data package, basically the work Don's been doing for the last 10 or 20 years.
Absolutely.
There's, I don't know, probably a couple of dozen targets that he's got here, there, and everywhere, and you're just going to basically do deals and go from target to target.
Yeah, and the good thing about Don is that he has been working in this area for a long time, so he has the relationships with a lot of the landowners. I think they would prefer to do the deal with Don,
right.
And so that's obviously a great benefit to us. We see between the LOI with this major land package with the major timber company that that has been signed, and we expect to have that the full agreement soon. There's some significant, I would describe them as potentially undiscovered belts. That's how Don refers to them. Things that have just never been touched, and significant geophysical and geochemical coincident anomalies, and that's where we'd like to go next. And so we expect to be drilling a few of these this summer. Not just precious metals. Again, some really nice zinc and copper showings as well.
And why, just as a sort of as a wrap up, I mean, Virginia, everybody knows where Virginia is, I think, pretty well known state for a lot of reasons. Why, what would you say are the main reasons why this prospective belt of geology hasn't really seen a hell of a lot of exploration? There hasn't been much. Is it the ownership? Is it
the ownership is certainly an issue, and I think you can look to that Carolina gold play that happened about, I don't know, it was a dozen years ago. It can be difficult to assemble a land package, and it's particularly difficult if you're dealing with people that are not as familiar with the exploration or the extractive kinds of industries, right? The great thing about where we are in Virginia is that we're able to work pretty much with forestry companies, and so they're in the resource extraction business. They understand how this works. They're not going to shoot themselves in the foot with a deal with onerous cash payments up front. We can get a deal that works for both sides, right? And the other great thing about the bigger companies is they have the larger land packages that gives you room to work, and also a bit of a buffer, from anybody out.
Well, and that's the one. I guess the one final point that's worth understanding that we'll make is, because this is private fee simple land, the permitting situation, which anyone who trades resource stocks has certainly been slapped upside the head with a permitting issue at some point. It always happens. You really don't have much of a permitting issue with these projects.
Yeah, no, essentially, like I say, give our geologist said, give them a week and heads up and you'll be drilling. And
yeah, because there's no permitting because it's private land. So.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a really interesting situation. I mean, Don Taylor may or may not be familiar to people as, the biggest takeover we've seen recently of a junior, which was Arizona Mining. The deposit was called the Taylor deposit for a reason. It's not a coincidence. Don was the finder. And of course, Dave Broughton, he's probably got the biggest copper discovery in the last 30 years. To his credit, those are the two guys working on these two belts along with Tom. It's really an excellent team, cheap stock. I think it's a great punt in here if you like exploration plays and love drill plays like I do. Aston Bay, BAY on the venture. Thanks for coming by, Tom.
Thanks, Eric.